What's going on, people? We're back again here on the Premier League Gazette here on AdamMcKola TV, the place where every single Monday we go through the back pages after a weekend of sport, except in the last few weeks we haven't had any sport. We haven't had much going on apart from watching Netflix and Disney Plus reruns and all that sort of stuff. We've all been put on lockdown, but still the headlines roll in football, and we will be going through those headlines that are on the back pages here today on AdamMcKola TV. And we've got so much to discuss. Gunners, the Arsenal players, potentially taking a pay cut, which could cause a massive rift in the dressing room and cause a bust up at the Emirates, which I'm sure we like to hear right here. We're looking at Paul Pogba and Luke Shaw quotes, as well as Harry Kane again being linked with a move to Manchester United, and potentially him being very keen on a move to Old Trafford. Now, we'll be looking at that very, very soon. But first up, we're going to get stuck into this Gunners pay cut bust up. Now, like I was saying, this is a video that comes every single week on a Monday on AdamMcKola TV. We have United Daily Live every single day and a different strand of video up every single day as well. So on Monday, we have the Gazette. On Tuesday, the Rumorator. On Wednesday, Master Debaters. Thursday, Weekly United. Friday, straight up MUFC. Saturday, we have some sort of FIFA content. And on Sunday, we have McKola and Howson's Pod to Nowhere. And we did one yesterday, which you can go and check out. Now, that's the only way I know what day of the week it is. And we're keeping the content coming for you here on AdamMcKola TV. So make sure, if you haven't, you're hitting that subscribe button. We want to hit 75k by the end of May. If you're already subscribed, contemplate joining, because you're helping support AdamMcKola TV. You'll get exclusive content on a monthly basis. You get extra stuff, like you can join the Discord forum that we currently have going. We have a Discord forum server where we have loads of little chats. They can ask questions in the Q&As, in any potential player interviews. You can put forward your questions, help decide topics of videos, etc, etc. That's a little buzzing little community over there that we've got going on at the moment, and you get a few little bits extra. But mainly it's to support AdamMcKola TV. So if you can, click that join button. If not, make sure you subscribe. But getting stuck into these stories right now. And we've got Gunners pay cut bust up, the first story up, which says stars to snub plan for a 12.5% pay cut for 12 months if they fail to reach the Champions League. Now, it's likely, it's not definite, but it's likely if this season goes ahead or whatever happens, they're not going to be in the Champions League. If this season actually got null and voided, they could potentially be in the Champions League next season, but that isn't looking like a likelihood at the moment. So the potential for them is they're not in the Champions League. So the players would have to take a 12.5% pay cut for 12 months. This isn't a short period of time, and therefore it will cause a big issue in the dressing room. Now, it says Arsenal players will reject the proposals which have been given by Arsenal to Hector Bellerin, who's their PFA executive or representative, to circulate that amongst the first team squad. It would take a 7.5% reduction if they only reached the Europa League, and then obviously it would be 12.5% if they were out of Europe completely. Inside the paper it then says this is gonna hurt, and on this page here, which is a bit too difficult for me to grip out for you right now, it's got a big picture of Aubameyang looking like he's about to start crying. And it is an interesting situation for them. It says Arsenal players have been warned the club faces a very grave situation because of the coronavirus lockdown. That was the message spelled out to the first team squad in the pay proposal should the season not be completed, or if Arsenal do not receive the expected payments from broadcasters. Now, aside to that, it was reported that the potential reimbursements or anything like that weren't as bad as first feared, but Arsenal are looking like they're going to be heavily impacted. We've already seen this impact on Spurs and them having to furlough staff and things like that, especially with their new stadium coming in. They need as much deals and as much gamers, as much money coming in as possible. Now, this is another one. Arsenal's payroll is believed to be 60% of their turnover, and turnover is going to take a massive hit in the next couple of months, and it would have already taken a hit. So Arsenal drawing up survival plans is an interesting one. Mikel Arteta isn't going to have a lot of money to spend at this rate in the next transfer window, whenever that is, and clubs could have a big impact by this coronavirus in the foreseeable future for them. Now, the way they're talking at Manchester United is that it's not going to have much of an impact, but there will be some impact there. and the impact's going to get worse as you go down through the size of the clubs. Now, Arsenal are a pretty big club, you know what I mean, in terms of fan base and history and what they've achieved and things like that, and qualifying for Europe and all that. They're a pretty big club compared to most, and if they're going to feel it, a lot of other clubs are going to feel it as well, and the ramifications of this could be very interesting. But people in the comments are always saying, oh, what about Aubameyang? Would you take him at United? And I'm like, I don't think that one's a realistic possibility. But if something like this continues to go ahead, then maybe it does become a distinct possibility. Also this weekend, Peter Bonetti passed away, former Chelsea player, you'd consider him Chelsea legend actually, and he won the World Cup with England in 1966 as well. Rest in peace to Peter Bonetti. The Mirror also have a little bit on Paul Pogba's quotes in the Manchester United podcast, which was obviously with a man like Sam Homewood, which is great to see for him. Quality work by Sam, but there's more on that in this, so we'll read this and move on to another paper, which has again got the Arsenal story on the back, raging gun battle. It's also got the story about Peter Bonetti and obviously Sir Sterling Moss as well, Formula 1 legend, also passed away, so rest in peace to him as well. On the back here, Roy Hodgson has revealed Premier League bosses all agree that the 1920 season must be finished. Everyone is in total agreement. We need an end to this season. We don't want artificial means of deciding who wins the league, who gets in the Champions League, who gets relegated and promoted. But then that also means if they want a finish to it, if it can't be finished, it gets null and voided, because surely if they all agree it gets finished, then if it can't be finished, they all agree that it shouldn't stand. Or am I just guessing at that? Inside the paper, we've got Breaking the Bank here with Arsenal's players again looking fuming. Who's that one there? Nicolas Pepe, is it? Yes, it is. Screaming his head off. And Aubameyang again looking sad. Tanguy and Dembele. There's a story about him after he went for a run in the park after Jose rocked up at his house the other day. He's plotting an escape route from the club. I mean, you would if you had Mourinho knocking on your door in lockdown, wouldn't you? You'd want to get out of there as quickly as possible. Moving on then to those quotes from Luke Shaw and from Paul Pogba. Luke Shaw here, let me throw this away. I'm always struggling with these newspapers when I can just throw the big bit away. So we've got Park and Fly here. Shaw, Prenton Romp put us in Rover Drive. Luke Shaw saying the Tranmere game was a very professional performance and that gave everyone a confidence boost because we've been on a really good run since. I'm not sure how important that Tranmere game was to United. Obviously it would have helped a few players dust off, feel free from the shackles and just play football, and then you get that kind of rhythm going. But yeah, it was a good time for United before football was put to a halt, wasn't it? And he even says, I think that's what's most disappointing, the fact that we had such good momentum, and it is really annoying. I know it's funny from a Liverpool perspective and them not winning the league, but God, I miss football. Pog wants to be unleashed, he says. Paul Pogba says he's been out so long that he has forgotten what it is like to play football, and he's discussed the extent of his injury on the Manchester United podcast. He says United's record 89 million sign has been plagued by ankle problems, has not played since Boxing Day. Pogba had featured just 8 times this term. Is targeting his return to action if and when the season resumes. I don't even know how it feels anymore. I can't wait to have this feeling again. I miss it because that's my job, to play football. I really enjoy playing football now. I'm not too sure. They would have probably asked him the direct question on the podcast, which you can understand. They're not in a position to really without getting in trouble. Yeah, is that going to be for United or Real Madrid or Juventus? Who knows who's it going to be for, but fingers crossed it is for United. And now we move on to the back page of the Daily Mail, where you've again got the stories about Sterling Moss and Peter Bonetti. You got Premier League, GAG, Sky and BT, so they're talking about how when they've got any interviews with players or managers or anything, they're not to be asking difficult questions based around the restart of football, financial issues and things like that. And it has to be in a more fun, family feeling kind of thing. I can kind of understand that as well, because you can't be asking players, yo, you might not be getting paid soon, or asking players, yo, you're going to take a pay cut. Why are they going to want to say it to in front of press, and then they're just going to get no content out of them? They're not going to be able to fulfill any obligations they may have, and then it's going to be difficult in terms of, when it comes back to them, if they want any reimbursements from the money It's going to be difficult to deny that. Kane's keen on United is another bit, which is, you know, if it was true, yeah, if Kane was true that he was keen on United, would it be that small of a bit? That small of a bit right there? I don't think it would be. You know what I mean? I do not think it would be that small of a bit if Kane was keen on United. Now let me refocus this camera so you know you're not looking at a blur like you're pissed. But anyway, let's find out. Page 64. Page 64. Page 64. There we go. Kane open to 200 million United switch. Again, a very small part of this. Now you think they've got this, the only one that has had it on their back page. If there was any truth to it, it would be that small of a story. It says Kane is open to a potential world record transfer to United at the end of the season. United won't be putting up any world record fees. The Tottenham forward has been considering his future for several months, primarily because he wants to be in the best position to challenge for trophies. Okay, fair enough. Kane is yet to earn a winners' medal at Spurs, lol. And sparked renewed uncertainty over his future earlier this month when he said he would not stay at Spurs for the sake of it. He's warming towards a possible move to Old Trafford this year, may encourage United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to launch an audacious bid. Look, I don't think we're getting Harry Kane. I think it would interest Ed Woodward, definitely. I think he would definitely be interested in that. But I don't think we're going to get Harry Kane. I think we'll spend a big chunk of our money on Jadon Sancho. And I also think the transfer window is going to be very weird when football returns and no one's going to be spending world record fees. They've also got that story on Arsenal's players rejecting the pay cut here. And Ian Ladyman's written another story a little bit on Woodward here, which says Ed Woodward's great fault at the helm of United has been to appoint the wrong managers and too often sign the wrong players. It is quite a rap sheet, but to accuse him of spending too much time negotiating sponsorship deals and earning the club money has never made sense. Now as some Premier League clubs scramble to pay their staff's wages and wait for their players to agree to salary cuts, United feel absolutely no sense to panic. They have enough cash. They will not furlough employees. England captain Harry Kane is now on their radar. Maybe the guy who did all the deals with the noodle companies and tyre manufacturers in the Far East wasn't quite the dope in the room after all. Yes, no one said anything about them things yet, Ian Lady Man or Lady Boy, whatever your name is. No one said anything about those things. Nobody. Yes, you know, it becomes embarrassing when he's constantly signing up these things and we can't get deals put over the table, put over the line. He shouldn't be dealing with football things. That's our issue. Bring in as much money as you want commercially. The club need it. The club will be successful because of that. But please, please, stay out of football things. Just don't get involved. Thought I'd done with talking about him for a little bit. But here we go, Ian Ladyman, bringing him back up in the conversation. Trying to get some positive PR for him. Anyway, thank you for watching what has been another Premier League Gazette. Make sure you're tuning in every single day on AdamMcKola TV. Liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing and joining as well. And for now, I have been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. We're out of here.